I was invited to go onto this. I wasn't able to make it. Sic and me and ChudLogic were supposed to talk to Kingston. Kingston is the guy who came out with all of the information about Carissa and Hunter Avallone. And so he asked for all of us to go on and talk to him because he felt like Hunter and Carissa keep talking about it. He was trying to let it die off. They're not letting it die off. So last week he asked me to get, so last week I came on and I told everybody, I said, hey, Kingston watched my interview with Carissa and he felt like, he said I looked like a journalist just trying to get to the truth. And so he wanted me to bring Carissa and Hunter and him on, all of us on, to have a conversation. But I watch this back when I tell you guys this, and I see Freddie in the chat saying he doesn't believe me.
Though, like, I didn't really want to benefit from this. That's why I was thinking maybe I'll just wait like a month before I start making any videos. That was honestly part of my reason for trying to just let shit die down. Is I hate the idea that people are like, oh, you did this for clout. Nigga, like, y'all, that's y'all currency. Like, not even, to diss anybody, because I understand, but it's like, this isn't my main job. Like, I had 0 videos on the channel. Like, why would I be doing this for clout? Like money comes first. And my main gig, I make money from that. Like, I don't know. That shit just, that.
Is this pasty white girl Hunter's ex? So this is Ginger Ramoth. She's in chat right now.
That's the part that bothers me. Like, I don't mind people judging me for like shit that I do. I do a lot of shit that people that don't really approve of.
Okay, Kingston, right. Listen, you're already dominating this conversation as you dominate certain people from what I understand. So listen, I just want to throw something onto you just to get the ball rolling, okay? So obviously, I think you kind of understand my position on this, but I do want to ask something that I think a lot of people are going to want to know the answer to, and maybe.
Number one thing, this is why I wanted to go on. This is why I wanted to talk to him about it. My entire thing, this entire time, has been, and this is what I talked to him about behind the scenes as well. If you do not justify why you put out this information, I don't expect anything from Hunter and Carissa. I expect literally nothing from them. And I might even expect them to lie. I might even expect them to lie about this. I might even think it's okay for them to lie about information that's put out without their consent. If somebody doxes me and they put my name out there, they put my address out there, it's information that's supposed to be private. It's meant to be just for me. If somebody doxes me and they put my stuff out there, and they say, this is Tomfoolery's real name. And I lie and I'm like, no, that's not my real name. No, that's definitely not my real name. Nope, that's not it. They got it wrong. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You screwed up big time, guys. You got it wrong. You doxed the wrong guy. Not me, dude. Nobody's going to fault me for that. Nobody's going to be upset that I lied, that's not my real name. Because it was supposed to be private. Because, of course, I don't want people to know that that's my real name. So it's going to, like, nobody would fault me. Just as somebody takes a bunch of private information of, like, sexting, nudes, like all sorts of relationship advice and anonymity stuff that was meant to be private, and then they put it out there in the public. Well, okay, fine. There could be a justified reason for putting it out there in the public. What's the reason? Oh no, I'm not interested in giving you a reason for why I'm putting this out there. This is pretty much what he told me. I'm not interested in that. I just want to clear my name. Well, clear your name from what, bro? We didn't know anything about your name. There was, like, all of the stuff that you put out there, none of this was attached to your name. You put all of this out there and then attached it to your name, Carissa's name, Hunter's name. Nothing was out there. None of this stuff was out there. You didn't need to post anything to clear your name. Tom, have you seen this? Sorry, I'm late. No, I have not seen this. I guess I'm assuming you're my replacement. I'm in the... sorry, I shouldn't have said it like that. I'm in the group chat with you guys, and I saw that they added you. But I wasn't able to make it. So I figured I'd review it instead and give my thoughts. From the little bit that I've seen on Chud on this, it just doesn't seem like he's made a big deal about that aspect. And I could be wrong. Maybe he has. But when he DM'd me and said, hey, I want to debate you on the Carissa Avallone situation. And I said, like, what? He's like, you know, why are you giving Hunter a pass? Why are you being so easy on him? Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, sure. I'll happily debate you on this. Because I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just going to go on there, explain. We don't expect people to answer for leaked information that's leaked for absolutely no reason. We never expect people to answer for that. Why are you defending Gunter Shovel Gnome? I don't know what you're talking about. Not defending anybody. I am explaining basic morality here, and just kind of the way the internet works in general. This is the way we've always done things. Everybody wants to do things differently for this situation for some reason. Not for some reason, because it's juicy. It's a juicy story. It's fun. Everybody, it's got a lot of twists and turns to it. It's been freaking crazy, okay? It's a lot of crazy stuff. But all right, the point is, yes, I don't expect people to answer for something when their info was leaked unnecessarily. I asked him for it. He told me that he leaked it because he heard that she was calling him a pimp and a sex pest, okay? I interviewed Carissa a couple of days before he told me that. She says those things in the interview. She says that she called him a pimp as a joke, but then she also kind of says that he seemed a little bit coercive. The problem with this, when he says, hey, she's already admitted to telling people this stuff, so the reason is already out there. Well, not really. Because just because she says she told people about this doesn't mean it actually got back to you. And just because she's telling people about this guy doesn't mean that this guy, who's a pimp and a sex pest, actually attaches to your identity. There's no reason to believe that anything she says ever attaches to Kingston's identity. There's no reason to believe this. She could have just been saying, hey, there's this guy that I talk to. He's a pimp and a sex pest. That's it, right? We have no reason to believe that it actually attaches to him. Yet he leaks sexting, nude pics, a whole lot of private information. For what? For what? So that was my main thing, and that's what I wanted to go into this to talk about. That would have been my whole thing. I would have made a huge deal about this, and I wouldn't have moved on from it until that seemed to be squared away. And I would have said, you know what? Look, if you don't want to answer for that, that's fine. I don't have any interest in talking about anything else, though. Like, unless that's answered for, I have no interest in talking about anything else. And all of the DMs that him and Carissa have both sent me, I haven't leaked them because I still don't feel like there's any justification for the information coming out in the first place. So that's where I'm at. So if you've missed any of the information or any of my streams or any of my interviews on this so far, this is where we're at. Kingston and I have a history before this. I've talked a lot of crap about him. He said a lot of things about me. But all of that aside, this is where I'm at on this scenario.
A bit more detail. So you spoke in your original video about how something was happening, people were speaking, that led you to release the video.
Thank God, Chud. Thank you. First question. Let's go, dude. Normally, Chud, he never presses anybody. He lets them get away with everything. Just kind of... He never actually asks them hard questions, so let's see how this goes.
What was it specifically that made you decide to release the video?
Okay, see, I've always tried not to be specific. Like, I feel like over time, it kind of got exposed what was happening because she started admitting to it. Like, she says to Tom, and that's why I kind of wanted Tom here. She's like, I used to tell all my friends this was the pimp. I'm like, hold on. Like, if you read the conversations, even if you see the video, part of the thing that was like, where I keep talking about, like, hey, you betrayed my trust too, is we had boundaries. My biggest boundary was don't dirty talk me to nobody.
They did have boundaries. He did send me this information. They had boundaries, and he would tell her, don't talk about me. I stay anonymous. You know, nobody should know who I am. So he did make it clear that he wants to be anonymous and that people shouldn't know about him. That boundary seemed to be muddied a lot with Hunter, because it seemed like she told Kingston numerous times, I have to talk to Hunter about whether or not I can do X, Y, and Z with you, or, hey, can I bring Hunter with me when I come and meet you? So it seems like that boundary was blurred a lot with Hunter, just not with other people.
I'm barely supposed to exist to anybody outside of you. So hey, dog, don't kick my back in. We can go our separate ways. Anytime she fuck up, I'll threaten to just stop talking to her. But hey, even if I stop talking to you, whatever happens, don't kick my back in to nobody. I don't want to deal with that because of, like, even just like the shit where it sounded non-consensual. I'm like, dog, like that, all that, when I got the tip that like that type of shit was happening, even at first I'm like, nah, she ain't fucking up like that. Like, she know my personality. She know I'm not a passive person. You talk bad about me, I'm gonna treat it just like I just did with you, Chud. Like, I heard you talking, let's talk about it.
And, sure, so you did get a tip. There was a tip that you got.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any...
He's trying to move it along.
Any reason that you're not willing or haven't so far provided evidence of this tip?
I mean, the biggest reason is, why should I? I understand that, like, people want to judge my morality, but what facts doesn't change?
It changes whether or not she was ever it changes whether or not you needed to clear your name. You're saying you posted this to clear your name, but you didn't have a name to clear. You posted this to prove that you weren't a sex pest and you weren't a pimp. Doesn't seem like anybody actually thought that you were a sex pest and a pimp. So your entire reasoning for posting all of this and just airing out all their dirty laundry was for nothing. As far as I'm concerned, as far as anybody else is concerned, we have no reason to believe that you needed to post any information whatsoever.
The girls admitted to it. Like,
sure,
she's on the video. She's on video saying...
I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with morality, like turning them out.
No. When I say the morality is, I think, like, because when me and Tom, like, were talking DMs, he said, I don't care about the facts. I care about were you righteous in putting out the video and telling all her business. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you nerdy ass niggas think about if I'm righteous. I care about the facts. I care that y'all know I'm not this. I wasn't sexually harassing nobody. I wasn't out.
There was no reason for us to think that because we didn't even know y'all had a relationship. We didn't even know there was a relationship, bro. You didn't. This is. I didn't say I don't care about the facts. That never happened. But I did say I don't care about any of this other stuff until you've justified this part. You have to have a justification for this before I can care about all of that. Because he's like, you know, here's more information showing I didn't do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I still have no reason to believe that you need to clear your name of X, Y, and Z. So until there's a person saying, hey, she's accused you of X, Y, and Z, I have no reason to believe you need to clear your name of it.
Out here, you know, on the illegal side of the fence, you know, like, because it matters to me that like people knew, because that's why if you look at everything I added in the video, everything I added was very specific. I actually made a much longer rant. The rant was like 30 minutes, because at first, you know, you see how I am. I get kind of worked up and I just start talking and shit, and that's kind of what I wanted it to be. But then I went back through and I tried to delete everything that I didn't think needed to be in there. So I deleted a lot of shit. If y'all have seen the first version,
That was the edited version.
yes, the career would have been over. And I mean, Chud, you've seen some of the shit I sent you.
Yes.
Like, Sic is the only one who I ain't really been like talking to behind the scenes. But Chud, you've seen like some shit that if I put it in that first video, or even if I threw it up on Twitter, the conversation would be different. That's why I threw up the camel thing, because I was like, hold on, these people don't get that I'm holding back so much. So let me show y'all what it looks like if I was actually being petty. Because everything I put in that video, I needed to have in the video. I needed y'all to see that it was her initiating the shit, the IRL stuff.
So okay, I can accept some of that to a degree, but the big question I've got is, what was the reason for revealing the 6-man all-black potential piss play gangbang orgy? Why was that?
What? Okay. If she actually did say that he was being a sex pest and a pimp, he has to show that she is engaging in sex work, that he is not the one necessarily facilitating the sex work, he's just giving her tips on it. She's coming with these grandiose ideas in these like extreme jobs, and he's just there to help with it, but he is not the one saying, hey, I've got a guy who wants, you know, 5 dudes to come piss on you, right? He's not the one saying that. He's not the one facilitating this stuff. He's just helping her with her jobs. That's important. If she's saying, hey, there's this random guy who just keeps wanting me to send him naked pictures of me, and he's being pushy and keeps sending me sexual texts, and I don't like it, and he just won't stop, right? Like, all of this shows like, yo, not only is he not being like a sex pest, but she's sending a lot of crap. Like, she's going hard in the paint, bro. That's important. If that accusation is actually there, that stuff's important. Why skip over that part, though? Why is he already skip? Okay, that makes sense, but why this? Well, if that made sense, this would make sense. But this doesn't make sense yet. The first thing doesn't make sense yet. We still don't know why the hell he needed to publish all of this information.
That's so important.
Because I felt like one of the things that was gonna get spun is it was gonna be like, oh, you pressured me into trying to get me to do things that would be illegal. And I'm like, nah, dog, you text me out the blue with that shit. So I made sure to put in where I'm asking her, like, dog, why are you always so desperate for money? Like, why you just be randomly hitting me up about like some shit like this? Like, I'm trying to get you to do OnlyFans, and you just randomly hitting me up with like offers that I'm like, damn, like, I'm not even gonna do this shit for free. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I got like, dog, like, it's her idea. Like, all the IRL shit, like, I'm not gonna run from it. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, you come to me on some like, hey, I'm freakier than you acting, like, let me do some other shit. I'm not gonna run from it. I'll facilitate whatever and shit and take my cut. But I thought it was important for people to see that, like, who this person is and how aggressive they are towards me. Like, because everybody sees big black porn guy, oh, little white innocent girl. Everybody kept trying to spin it like she's just naive and dumb and blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, dog. When I'm on the phone with this girl, she initiating all the crazy shit. Like, I'll say some regular shit and she'll come back with like the craziest return. And I'm just like, okay, make sure that shit's in the video so the niggas can see. And honestly, I will add something. I know I'm talking a lot of shit. Don't feel like y'all can't cut me off. Y'all can just interject. But
he did it for clout, in my opinion. I'm willing to hear him out, but I am still skeptical. So I don't think he did it for clout. One, he took the video down. Two, he's the one who didn't go on any shows. When Hunter and Carissa did interviews, went on shows, were talking to a bunch of different people, he was the one who was staying off the streams, off of the shows, and took the video down. When he's retracting content, they are putting out more and more content. So this is the first time he's gone onto a stream. This is the first time he's gone somewhere to talk about this. So I don't think it's a clout thing.
I do feel like maybe I did err on the side of like putting too much in there when really I should have not put certain things. Like even like some of the Hunter shit. And keep in mind, I don't like the guy. Haven't liked the guy for a year. She knows how much I dislike the guy. So when I'm hearing shit, I'm like, all right, let me throw in some shit that'll let him know what I know. Because this is some shit she ain't supposed to tell me. And I know she's telling this, at least I can't say I know. I think.
Why the fuck did he feel it's necessary to mention Destiny's personal life? Because part of what he was saying is that she's running around talking about Destiny's personal life and just throwing it out willingly. I didn't even ask her about it. I didn't ask for it. She's just throwing it out there for no reason. So why wouldn't I believe that she's also walking around talking about my business for no reason? Why wouldn't I also believe that she's out there just running her mouth about my crap? That was like part of his justification for releasing the information, saying that she's just not, that like he believes that now she's telling everybody all of this stuff because she just seems like a gossiper.
I think she's telling this nigga a different story than what's actually happening. Now I know, because we see her in public telling those lies and we see him repeating them, saying, please stop. Please stop. Y'all seen enough of conversations where the idea that she ever told me please stop is absurd. But I think he believes that. I think she told him that enough that he genuinely thinks she was telling me please stop and I was pressuring her. So I'm like, all right, let me prove how disingenuous. Let me prove that the way that she's kicking my back into you, she was kicking your back into me the whole time. She's telling me about how not satisfied she is in a relationship. She's telling me that you don't fuck right. She's telling me you don't edit the videos right. She's saying, like, she said, hey, and this wasn't even in the video. I don't even know if I said this. Like, we tried to use this nigga because I feel like she kept feeling weird about cheating. So our kind of getaway with it was, let's use this nigga. Let's let him participate. You know, if this nigga is, like, I'll tell her, like, shit, fuck it. You use him as your dick. You know, the whole time I kept telling her, don't break up with this nigga. You break up with this nigga. Because she always was talking like first it'd be like, oh, the marriage seems so perfect and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if the marriage is so perfect, you're not on the phone with me telling me how much you would like to get passed around by me and my friends. I don't believe the marriage is perfect.
Cool.
When
yeah.
No, go ahead.
One thing I just want to say, because, you know, I appreciate where you're coming from when you're saying you kind of don't give a shit about what people think about, like, your morality. But surely you can understand, though, that because of the perceived extensiveness of what you released and the fact that the initial video wasn't blurred enough even by, say, YouTube standards, people are going to look at that and think negatively.
I want to interrupt you for 1 second because
Okay.
I can't let that pass.
Go on.
Y'all
Is
be
Is that how it's going to be? Is Chud talks for 2 seconds? Or
No, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry.
No,
Yeah.
y'all can interrupt me. I just want to throw one thing in there.
Please.
So the two guys in here, y'all keep saying some shit that it's the most annoying shit. I could pull up a picture right now that I put on Twitter of Hunter Biden where his genitals are blurred. The New York Post picture posted. Are y'all calling that revenge porn from the New York Post?
Yes, they got a lot of crap for that. I don't know about revenge porn. Revenge porn is a bit specific, but yes, people felt like that was really gross. I'm pretty sure numerous platforms are even like banning people for posting these pictures, and they're blurred, but they're not very well blurred.
To me,
Okay, you go Sic. I've spoken a lot. Go on.
To me, it's going to depend on the level of blur. To me, I mean, for the record, my standard for revenge porn might not be the laws. I could totally accept that. But to me, one of the problems with revenge porn is that, or at least blurring stuff out, blurring images out, it's like obscure or hide the contents of the photo.
I mean, we're already past the freaking justification for the original video. This is frustrating because this is why I wanted to go on there. We're already like that should have been the entire conversation. Like once that's Gucci, then like cool. I got no other qualms. Everything else is good. Obviously, you shouldn't have posted the video the way that she did with the light blur on it. He's already admitted that. He added blur to it. Then eventually took the video down. So like I got nothing else. Just justify releasing the info in the first place. That's it. That's the end of it. And he says like, oh, it's, you know, moral, this, that. It's not about like, we're talking about you. You say this is your entire reason for posting the information. You have to actually give that reason. If you don't give that reason, it looks like you're just being petty. You say that she was ghosting you at the time. Yeah, it looks like you're just being petty. You're just mad that she's not answering your DMs. And so now you just want to air out all your crap with her because you were talking to Hunter Avallone's girl. Yeah, like it just seems like something that'd be in the back of anybody's mind the entire time they're talking to Hunter Avallone's girl and she's doing this sort of crap the entire time. Yeah.
So that if you were to look at it unattached to a story, you couldn't make out what was actually in that photo. And it seems like that's what news stories typically do. Okay, no. When I watch your...
That's like you.
I mean, you can say that, but
well, no, I was gonna pull up. Damn, I'm on my phone, so I can't really pull it up unless I.
You're fine. What did you say it was for
Just
Hunter
go
Biden?
on my Twitter. Just go on my Twitter, and you'll see the Hunter Biden picture where they specifically blur his dick, so you can't see his dick, but you can see that he's naked and that they blurred just his dick. His whole face is in it. His name is attached to the story. This
story has been milked dry. Well, so yes, but not really, because. This is the first time that he's actually coming out and talking and answering questions, right? And the main question out of all of this is the one thing that still has not been answered. Like, the most important question is the one that somehow, throughout all of this crap, everybody pressuring Carissa, everybody pressuring Hunter, everybody talking about her, you know, lying or Hunter lying or any of this other crap. But in order to pressure them and get upset with them, they got to jump over this massive hurdle of whether or not he should have posted the information in the first place, whether or not we should even care about the information in the first place.
Do I feel like they were doing that too as like revenge porn? No, because I don't think that they feel like he did anything wrong to them. I feel like the intention doesn't matter. It's what you did. I mean, clearly, you know, you went back and covered it up because she asked you to, or, you know, whatever.
No,
but,
no, I did that for you.
You did it for you too.
Yeah.
I remember, didn't you guys have a conversation between the two of you where she was saying something about how she was going to commit whatever?
Yeah, let me.
And you said that you would take that shit down for her?
That was about the post. I actually, see, that's the one mistake I feel like I've made this whole time. And
Wait, Vamps, that is not moral facking. Expecting him to have a reason for posting somebody's private information. No, I mean what Chud and Stardust and everyone has been doing for a week. Oh, yeah. Yes. It most certainly is, yes.
And I feel like it's something that Stardust and them tried to like stay on is when Stardust did her little video and I was responding to her, I conflated two things. So I conflated taking down the video with making the post. The suicide stuff was about the post. I'd already taken the video down. I was
Tom is like a gossip addict. It's Tom's crack rock. All right, this is a really weird time for you to say that, Yosef, considering, one, they've already mentioned my name like 4 times. Excuse me. But secondly, I don't do gossip. I do hard facts. Hard facts, cuh. Yeah, Tom, it's really weird how you respond to your name, LMAO. Yeah, I know. It's hard being famous now, Tom. Yep.
Gonna take down the video sooner because the idea was just, hey, let me just get it out there so my side's out there. And then once y'all been spanked a little bit, like just take this off and shit. But I couldn't take it off because they kept trying to make it sound like, oh, he's taking back what he said. So
can I just address the
But yeah, he's saying, well, I need to get my side out there. Why? Her side wasn't out there. Why do you need to get your side out there?
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't. For the Hunter Biden thing, what you posted on Twitter, I would absolutely call revenge porn. They are materials that weren't meant for public. I see Hunter Biden over a girl grabbing her hair with, okay, her crack's not like available to see, but you can see her ass and her naked body. I would not say that that's not revenge porn. And in fact, Twitter was taking down these photos because it was considered hacked materials.
Based, freaking sick. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Sick on top of it. Let's go.
And they weren't allowing it on the site. So technically you're breaking TOS right now. Not to like moral frog over TOS. I'm just saying, me personally, yes, I would consider this revenge porn.
Okay, I'm cool with that. So you're being consistent, so I'm cool with it. You seem to not just know the law at all. Because now you're saying that the New York Post does.
Wait, I don't think he said legally. I don't think he said legally. When we're talking about revenge porn, it's not necessarily a legal issue.
Know the law and that
Do you know the law?
Department. I actually do. You know, what's funny enough is because of my job, I kind of have to know that law. So as long as you blur the genitals, you're good. The idea that, well, I could tell what's happening regardless, that's not the law. Like, y'all are just making that shit up. Go actually read.
No, because the law generally says partial nudes for revenge porn is... The Communications Decency Act, a federal law passed in 1996 regulating pornography on the internet, protects websites and service providers from liability for content posted by users they are not creators of. That's not what I'm looking for. It is illegal to disclose private images or revenge porn in Georgia. Yes, in July of 2021, Georgia became the first threatening individuals, depicted images, sexually compromising. So, I mean, I guess sexually compromising is all it is. Like, that's even less than what I was saying. But most states... Most states say partial nudity. This one says non-consensual distribution of intimate imagery. So this is just intimate imagery. Like, yeah, these are way more vague than what he's making it sound like. Sometimes mischaracterized as revenge porn can occur when when partners take intimate videos or other images of an individual and then use the image to humiliate, harass, intimidate, and exploit individuals, usually women. The practice is believed to be growing because technology is readily available and makes it easily easy to widely share images. But new legislation included in Section 1309 of the ABA supported violence against women reauthorization, signed into law part of the FY 2022 Omnibus Spending Bill earlier this year, can help the bipartisan Intimate Imagery and Privacy Protection Act introduced by U.S. Senator Margaret Wood Hassan established a federal civil course of action for individuals whose intimate visual images are disclosed without their consent, allowing them to bring a civil claim in federal court for up to $150,000. Courts are also authorized to provide other forms of appropriate legal relief, including a temporary restraining order, a preliminary injunction, or a permanent injunction.
Read it. Like,
I mean,
just
okay, first of all, I did go read the law. There's probably ways to interpret it, and that because you didn't obscure the photos, at least for the first time, well enough, that those private photos that you received could very well be considered revenge porn. I'm not saying it's 100%. I could be wrong, but I also don't think you know. I don't think you know either. I don't think you're a fucking lawyer. I don't think you have this absolute answer just because of your job.
Nah, I'm
Wow, he doesn't think he's a lawyer just because he's black, bro. Sick. What the hell, dude? Oh my goodness.
I agree with you. I could be wrong. The difference between your level of confidence and mine is that I'm actually gambling my freedom on being right. So that's my confidence.
Yeah, I just want to throw in there. I just want to throw in there to say that, like, to me, whether or not it's revenge porn, I can't assess that. Maybe legally it is, but I don't know either way. My issue was never whether or not it was revenge porn per se. It was more so the fact that you could have just put like a.
It is very cringe hearing people make firm statements about laws like this when a lot of it is going to be down to interpretation and precedent. I don't think anyone involved really knows if it's illegal. Yeah, I don't think most of the time when people are talking about revenge porn, I don't think they're normally talking about it, the legality of it. I could be wrong, but I think people are just generally talking about what they would consider to be revenge porn. But when it comes to the law, I guess it's going to be different per state as well, I would assume.
Black box over it, and that would have just quashed any doubt whatsoever of it being a problem, you know?
I agree. And that's why, like, you know.
Oh, that's right.
I blurred it the way
I think we were looking at. Texas revenge porn laws. What is revenge porn? Revenge porn is a relatively new phenomenon in Texas. It is defined as the disclosure of sexual or explicit visual material that depicts another individual without that individual's consent. The visual material is disclosed to inflict embarrassment, shame, or harm on the victim, and it is usually disclosed by a previous partner. The offender discloses visual material with another person's intimate parts exposed or engaged in sexual conduct without that victim's consent and with the intention to hurt the victim. When the disclosure occurred, the offender knew or otherwise had reason to believe that the visual material was obtained by them under circumstances in which the victim had a reasonable expectation that the visual material would stay private. The disclosure of the visual material hurts the victim, and the disclosure of the visual material reveals the identity of the victim in any way. So, I mean, yeah, like, this is all very vague, but obviously what happened here would qualify under all of those things.
I blurred it, but, like, in hindsight, I would have just killed the question because I feel like they've been able to use it to distract. So I'd have just blurred it, like, blacked it out. Like, I should have.
Yeah, you know,
but not because I'm scared of the law. Not because I'm scared of the law, but just because of I hate that they've been able to use it to distract from what I was trying to talk about.
Yeah, precisely, because they've kind of pointed to that to call you like a perpetuator of revenge pornography, which has then led to them pushing this idea that you were coercive. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Other than the kind of the reason for the video coming out and the extensiveness of it, I don't really know if I've got much other criticism to levy. So
that's it. That's it. Well, other, you know, outside of the reason for it, you know, which we've already covered that. No, you haven't covered that. You haven't covered that at all. There's barely been touched on. This is, it's all good. Not important. Not important. Just let that one go. That's cool. Got nothing else.
So, Ginger, I don't know if you had some disagreements or issues with other actions you wanted to address, or?
I mean, honestly, besides the whole not obviously covering her up enough, I feel like they're two grown adults, and I feel like she's not taking accountability for the majority of what she herself engaged in. So it's not exactly, it's not criticism on his behalf. It's really just criticism on like both their behalves. I don't think that either one of them handled this properly.
Yeah, I think Carissa and Hunter have both been trying to like blame other people. Hunter even threw like everything at her in his last video, where he's saying stuff like, "Oh, I told her not to talk to him. She didn't listen. So, you know, what are you gonna do? She wouldn't listen to me. So, what can I say?" Hunter is his own party in this. Yeah, I mean, but the narrative up until that point had been that the two of them were communicating about everything. He knew everything that was going on. He was part of the whole thing. It was all, you know, they were both consenting to everything together. And then all of a sudden he just throws that out there. "Oh, I told her. She wouldn't listen." They're not a couple anymore. Yes, but they were at the time that this stuff was happening. And the narrative that they used since then, the narrative that they were going with since all of this happened, was that the two of them were sticking together. That they were both in on this. It's just an old "I told you so" from him. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is that he's kind of like, like Ginger just said, where it seems like both of them are just trying to like shift any sort of responsibility or accountability off of them and onto somebody else. And Hunter's doing that to Carissa now too.
So.
Okay, and Sic, I don't know if you wanted to go back and forth on the revenge porn thing, or there's anything else you had to criticize specifically?
Yeah, you brought up something earlier, which is like, well, as far as like why you released the video, yeah, I kind of actually do want to see that proof. I think it's strange that you are so willing to show everything except for that little snippet of information.
Let's go.
And it sounds like, from the way you're saying, like, why should I show it? Why do I need to show it? It sounds like you have that proof. And I think it's actually, it's a big fucking deal, because frankly, it speaks a lot to your character and whether or not people should like really assess your story in a way that's like favorable to you. Because if you're just doing this shit.
Not even that, whether or not we assess the story at all. Whether or not we assess the story at all. Why even assess the story? If you don't have a reason for putting the story out, why even assess it? Yes, sick W's, dude. Let's go, dude.
Out of revenge. I mean, first of all, it doesn't speak well for the photo situation. But second of all, it just kind of like seems like you're probably just going on this fucking crusade. And you kind of admit as much when you say that, well, let's see how petty I can get. But the reasoning you gave for why you got petty is just, to me, it's bullshit.
Hold on. When I said how petty I could get, that was specifically about the hit piece and them lying about me repeatedly. That had nothing
I must
to do with
miss that.
video. And so nothing to do with
I'm not sure that makes much of a difference, though, because I think it speaks to the character of whether or not you're being petty and, like, the fact that you're just willing to be, like, a bit vengeful and childish over this sort of stuff.
video.
Okay.
Only shows sexting receipts, all other receipts shrugged. Yeah. Yes. Every receipt that we would expect from them, they've seen, like, it seems like Carissa and Hunter have been trying to, like, provide all sorts of receipts and crap, which Kingston has as well, but Kingston is continuously showing more receipts than the ones that we want to see.
Okay, so let me get the time.
Do you have proof of the... Yeah, do you have proof of somebody, like, tipping you off? Not just her admitting to telling friends about the situation.
you're specific. See, I feel like we're looping. Like now you're saying the thing that I just answered, where it's like you're saying, well, my moral judgment of you will change. I don't care about your moral judgment of me. Like that's never going to motivate me to do anything.
That's what
It's not just the moral judgment of you. It's the fact that we don't care about anything else. We don't care about all of the information that you put out until you have made some sense of why you put it out.
you're being judged on. You don't have to like it.
No.
You can have a problem with me calling you a scumbag, but that's part of why I'm.
To be fair to King, he doesn't give a fuck. So, sure, but the reason he says he doesn't give a fuck is because he says all he cares about is clearing his name. His name was never muddied. He has to prove that he's clearing a name. The only way that he's clearing a name is if he shows us that there was somebody telling him that his name was being muddied in the first place. That's the only reason he would need to clear his name, is if somebody was telling him, yo, your name's being muddied. We need that information.
Calling you a scumbag. So yeah, if you have a problem with me saying that, yeah, you're gonna care about that fucking judgment.
I don't mind you thinking I'm a scumbag. Like if you're saying, hey, my issue is you went overboard, you heard a little something that might was.
I just realized Tom can't yell like Seinfeld. It's not that I can't yell, it's that I'm not actually like generally mad. Normally I'm just not actually mad. So this is how I yell when I'm not really mad, but I'm like, I don't know, just I guess like performatively yelling.
Wasn't even detailed enough and you just went crazy. I don't give a fuck. That's exactly what I did. I'm not hiding shit. Like, yeah, it wasn't even specific enough where I was sure. But if I'm hearing anything from that side,
he hasn't justified the reason for putting out the nudes.
And then I call you or I text you and now I can't get a hold of you for you to explain yourself, I'm assuming the worst. And I'm going to treat you like you 100% guilty. Because why the fuck ain't you explaining yourself, nigga?
So, according to Carissa, let me see if she ever sent me the receipts for this. According to Carissa, she messaged him before he posted everything. So I will show you guys these, okay? All right. So in the interview with me, she admits to saying to one of her friends that she called him a pimp. But she says right after, I said it as a joke. So here's her. She says, ha ha ha. I'm taking what pimp says to heart. He'd be proud. He's not a pimp, by the way. I just call him that because it's funny. So she wasn't allowed to show me who she was sending these to. But she told me there is someone who can verify that these were being sent to somebody else. I said, who can verify this? Because you could have just like typed that up to nobody. She said, Stardust can verify that this was sent to somebody else. Stardust has been in contact with my friend. My friend is the one who I sent this to. Contact Stardust. So I contacted Stardust. I said, hey, can you verify that these messages were sent to your source? And I said, if you can't, do not do it. Don't tell me that these are verified if they are not. This is serious. If it turns out that this is not to your source, you will go down with them. Do not tell me this is verified if it's not actually verified. She messaged me back and said, it is verified. She sent it to my source. So,
why are you acting guilty if you're not guilty? I gave you a whole week to explain yourself, and you ran like I was the police. Nah, nigga, you guilty.
Not communicating with you is guilt. It's a
yeah, in reality, guys, I'm going to tell you guys a secret, okay? And this is going to blow the whole thing wide open. But I was the one who messaged Kingston in the first place and said, hey, someone's been walking around bad-mouthing you, calling you a pimp and a sex pest. That's all I said. I was just trying to troll him. I didn't know it had anything to do with this. And then he just started leaking crap, and now I'm freaking out because I didn't mean to do that. I was just messing with him. I was just sending freaking random messages to him just from another account. I didn't know that, yeah, I didn't know he was even like, I didn't even say Carissa's name. I just said somebody. And then all of a sudden, Sass sends me this freaking video the next day. Like, look at this guy. He just posted all this stuff about Carissa. I'm like, oh, no, my heart dropped down in my stomach. I'm like, oh, this is because of me. Oh, no. And then I start the video and he's like, someone told me that she was bad-mouthing me. I'm like, oh, I knew it, dude. Oh, no.
sign of guilt.
What are you talking about? Hold on. If I lend you my car, and then I'm hearing, hey, that
How's the conversation so far? Just tuning in. Sick, you are doing great. Of course, Chud is going to let him get away with nothing answers, so I'm glad, since I was not there, you were there. Because, yes, the justification for releasing everything, that's all that matters. Like, that's literally it. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. That's it. That's the end of it.
that nigga crashed your shit, dog. So I try to call you and be like, hey, why niggas telling me you crashed my shit? And you won't answer the phone for a whole week? Hell yeah, you guilty, nigga. What you talking about? That's my assessment. Maybe y'all think differently.
Okay, just so I'm not crossing any wires, because I already messed up at the beginning of this. What are you accusing Carissa of specifically that caused you to release the video? Just real quick. So
exactly what she's basically admitted to is she was running around telling her friends and her husband. No, she was telling her friends and her husband that I was basically a sex pest who was trying to sex traffic her. Like,
okay,
not him, a guy, not him, not him, some guy. Nobody knew who he was, as far as we know. Nobody knew it was him. She was talking about a guy, a manager, a coach. But she never said Kingston the photog.
Like, nah, nigga, we not finna just let that ride. Nigga, what you doing? Like, I don't care what's going on in your house and y'all got a messy divorce going on. You don't get to make niggas think that I'm a sex fucking pest. Like,
So if there's some troll on the internet saying that I'm saying that shit about you, and we had private DMs, you would just totally find it acceptable to release those DMs.
yes. Hold on. If you're the only person.
Chud is weak at holding people to account and finding all the info unless it has to do with spicy chat. I mean, look, people are obviously going to take things a bit more personally when it's about them. That's a normal way of engaging with people. Like, it's when something's about you, you're going to engage with it very differently. And if you take something personally, you're going to engage with it differently. So I would expect him to deal with stuff about him and spicy chat and his community very differently than he would deal with this. But he's been the guy who's been going over all of this stuff. Like, I didn't know most of it until I had Carissa on, and I found out most of the information during the interview with Carissa. Even with Sic coming on, I was finding out a bunch more information with him asking questions. I didn't know half the crap with the story.
That I ever talked to, and you're the only person that's supposed to know I exist, then I know it came from you. Who else could it have come from?
Did it happen to like cross your mind to maybe just send Hunter this stuff as opposed to like
Hunter's
posting
not even
it?
supposed to know who I am. If Hunter knows who I am, then you already in violation. That was part of our boundaries.
He said she was talking to her husband. Are you saying because she didn't, you were under the impression she didn't identify you specifically?
Yes. The most.
I really want to know how it got back to him. He needs to offer a better reason than why should I for keeping his evidence private. Yes. I mean, really. Like, I mean, they need to give him a reason for it. And my explanation here, I don't feel like has been given there. Like, and this is what I've said throughout this entire drama. I said it to Stardust and Sic when we were all on. I said it to Sic and Rezi when we were all on. I've said it on here numerous times. I just don't care about anything in this scenario unless he makes sense of why he leaked all of the information in the first place. He says that he leaked it to clear his name. His name wasn't dirtied. So what the hell? Damn it.
All she was supposed to ever tell her husband is that she was getting help from somewhere.
Welcome.
I feel like there's a level of retardation going on and not acknowledging the fact that if she's telling her husband that she's interacting with a guy who either is a photographer, is giving her advice for OnlyFans or something of the sort, that he's not going to want to know who that guy is and isn't going to know.
Not only that, but also the guy that Hunter is supposed to travel to go visit with Carissa somehow, or the guy that she's saying, hey, I'm sending nudes to this guy and I'm like sexting with this guy, crap like that. Like, it's no longer just this anonymous like photographer business position anymore. Now it's like, oh, this is like a thing within our relationship that you need to know about.
Like,
Hey,
did you just assume that was the case?
No, I did. Like, honestly, I assumed that, hey, if she's lying to, no, I'm keeping it real. I assumed if she's lying to me, if she's lying to him, she's probably lying to me. But I don't care if she's lying to me because this isn't my wife. So as long as you don't tell the lie, as long as you don't kick my back in, it'd have been cool. Like, if she had just kept it with like, yeah, this is who we was, whatever, but didn't tell any of the lies, I'd have just been like, whatever, just don't talk to me no more. Because that was always my threat. My threat was always, you violate our boundaries, I'm just going to erase your number.
But at the time, okay, you're using Carissa's testimony in this drama to say that you were like proven right about your assessment of what you were told, right?
Yes, but it seems like it's post hoc justification. Because he didn't tell us that until after she said those things on my stream. So he could have just waited for her to say something, and it was like, he heard her on my stream, and he's like, oh, that sounds like a good excuse for why I released all this information. I'll just go with that.
But the problem is you can't justify your actions based on shit you figure out or get proven after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Was I right or was I wrong?
It doesn't matter if you're right because you don't know you're right when you
Yes, we have no idea if you were right. We have no freaking idea.
release that video. You know you don't know you're right. You know that.
Okay, stop. No, I disagree. Because
Okay, no. He's but no. Wait, before you spin a word salad, you spin a word salad, give me a second. So the problem is that you're saying that the issue that you had with Carissa in the first place was you were worried that she was explaining to her husband and her friends that you were manipulating her into the situation, that she didn't really want to do the things that she was doing. But you're also saying that he wasn't supposed to know, and he didn't know at this point, because if he did, then you would have stopped talking to her. So it has to be one or the other.
No, I don't know what he knew at what point. That's on her side. I can only guess. That's why, like, when he's saying you're acting sure, there are things I'm sure of, and there are things that I feel strongly about, but I'm not.
Wasn't this the chat that saw Emma wipe Tim across the floor and cheered for Tim? No? We saw Emma make an idiot of herself in front of another idiot. I wouldn't even say Emma got shit on, because Tim didn't do a good job at, like, dismantling her retarded arguments. Tim was I was uber critical of Tim and the stupid stuff that he was saying throughout that conversation as well.
Not claiming to be 100% certain about. Like, there are things I'll never know just because they happen on her side. But I think it's fair to speculate that if you're lying to the nigga you're married to, that you're probably lying to the side guy too. That, I think that's a fair. I mean,
but you have to take that chance as the side guy, don't you?
Exactly.
You immediately know that that person's capable of lying. So anything that they lie to you about in the future is kind of.
Emma looked like a retard for 60% of the time. Tim was a retard in some levels and outright lied at other points. Yeah, I definitely think Emma looked worse in the end, for sure. Like, she was the one continuously calling people racist, acting like they're what do you call it? Inspiring domestic terrorism. Like, keeps saying stuff like, "Oh, I'm not for censorship." "Oh, you're for censorship? Oh, wow. I'm not for censorship." So, haha, got him. Or, oh wow, well, you should talk about that on your program then, Tim. And each time he's like, "I do." Like, just the whole thing was just, yes, she looked way worse in that conversation. And when you look horrible up against Tim Pool, you're really screwing up, dude. And this is why we go watch it every time one of these populist lefties go talk to him. It's because these are the only people that are actually going to look worse than Tim Pool. These are the only ones that we'll be able to find that are actually going to look horrible next to Tim Pool.
Both your problem, isn't it?
Well, okay, but see, this is how we handle that. And maybe I'm the only nigga in here who deals with people that, you know, are in other relationships, so maybe this rule doesn't make sense. But the way it's supposed to work is, hey, we're doing dirt together.
Tom, this is the last time covering the Hunter Cuckaruna Palooza, please. So I invited Kingston on tonight. I sent him a DM, asked him to come on tonight since I wasn't able to make it here. Which I'll be honest, like, I sent more than enough DMs and gave more than enough notice of my schedule, and it seemed like my schedule was not prioritized in order to make it to where I could come on. So, but So I invited him on to talk tonight and didn't get a response from him. If he sees this and thinks, okay, it makes sense now why I should release this information, now I'll go on and talk to Tom and explain my side of things, or you know, why I still don't think I should have to explain my side of things, then we'll end up coming back to this. But as far as I'm concerned, yes, if his side is not justified here, or if he doesn't give any sort of explanation for why he's airing out everybody else's crap, then Yeah, like it's pretty much over with. I think Chud didn't do the panel before noon, like you said you were okay with, because Kingston probably wouldn't have been available. I don't think it was intentional. Okay, I mean, all I know is that I said this stuff on Thursday. I mean, sorry, on Tuesday. And didn't get any like responses on the timing. But I have no idea who it was, or if it was Chud, or if it was Kingston, or I have no idea. I'm not making any claims as to who did it. All I know is that, yes, I tried to make my schedule clear so that I could make it, and I wasn't able to make it.
Good. Obviously, you're gonna lie. Like if you get caught, you're gonna pretend it was something that it wasn't, whatever. And then we'll stop doing what we're doing, and that's fine. Like it's fine as in like I'm not gonna seek revenge or trying to do anything. Like I'm just gonna disappear on you. You're not the only girl I'm talking to.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like she ghosted you, and then you released all of her information. That's what we have right now. The information that we have is she ghosted you, you released all of her information. The other things, we don't have that. We don't have the other stuff about, like, you know, having a reason to out her. So right here where he's saying like, oh yeah, if you want to just end everything, then that's fine. I'm not going to be vengeful. I'll just leave it alone. I'll move on. That does not seem to be the case.
Like I'm in a whole ass relationship. So it's like, but you can't say certain things. If you'd have just told this nigga, yeah, I was talking to somebody behind your back. It is what it is. We're divorced. We're getting a divorce anyway, so who cares? That's how I think she should have dealt with it. And instead, you're like, oh, this nigga's a whole rapist ass nigga, so you can get out of it. Like,
so was there proof?
So at this time, the logic going on here, your logic is that, okay, well, I mean, because you fuck with other women too, right? So if you're having problems with her, you're just gonna like cut her off, disappear. It's not that big of a thing.
Yeah.
And you're saying that that's your prescription for her, is that's what you wish she would have done, not say all this other shit. But up until she talks about this shit publicly, you don't know that she said that other shit. Those are rumors that, hold on, those are rumors, hold on, those are rumors that you're hearing. And so up until the fact that she confesses that she's telling people that you coerced her, all she did was actually what you prescribed, which is just, she's going to ghost your ass and she's not going to communicate with you.
Yeah, so she was already ghosting him when he heard about this, and he thinks, okay, she's ghosting me, so this must be true. But he didn't then DM her and say, hey, what's going on here? He just released all the information. But according to her, she DM'd him before he released all the information. So at the time that he releases the information, she is not ghosting him, according to her. I have not verified this yet, so I want to be clear. I don't know this. I don't have that. That is not a receipt that I can leak right now, but I have asked for it. So hopefully by the time this video goes to editing, we will be able to edit that in. But currently, I do not have that DM showing that she did DM him before he posted all of this.
Again.
But okay, so you're gonna subtract the rumors, which is the whole part.
I have to subtract the rumors because you don't know any confirmation of those until after the video is released.
But you're saying I need confirmation. The confirmation is the fact that they exist. No one's supposed to know about me. How the fuck did the information get out? Like if we got the secret formula and you and I know it, if a third nigga mentions it, I know it came from you.
I don't understand.
Yes, but we don't know that a third dude mentioned it. We don't know that, Kingston. We don't believe you. And it's not that we think you're a liar. It's that we don't believe anybody for anything. Ever. You make a claim, you gotta prove it.
I still don't understand how he wasn't supposed to know about you if you told her to invite him to join you guys.
Oh, Ginger. Shot to the heart.
honestly,
See, what had happened was,
I always felt like by the time she was actually going to get on the plane here, the Hunter shit, she was going to be past, because of the way she kept playing with the Hunter shit is like, she'd kick his back in one day, then she'd act like, oh, we're so lovey-dovey the next day. And so if you see, like, there's a constant kind of, y'all could call it pressure or whatever, but I'm constantly trying to reaffirm, like, okay, what is this? Are you cool with this? If you're not, tell me now so we could stop this. And so, like, yeah, if Hunter was all the way in, I'd have been cool with him seeing who's behind the curtain and you're in the family now, nigga. But until that point, and I was always straight up with her this, until that point where Hunter's all the way down, keep this nigga in the dark as far as I go. Cause like, if he, cause even, and like, it's funny that everyone, like,
yeah, that's a good principle in theory, but in order for her to invite him, you have to assume that she's giving him more information about who you are. Right? Like, she can't wait until they get off the plane to be like, oh, by the way, the guy that we're going to meet is a dude that you've debated numerous times.
I think Hunter's going so crazy about the cuck thing. I never called him a cuck at first. I never did.
He's going nuts on that.
Yeah, I didn't think he was a cuck. I thought he was getting cheated on. And I thought the girl felt like, damn, I don't really want to be cheating on him. So I'm stressing. I'm going both ways. So that's why she was trying to, let's make it an open relationship. At one point, I was even saying, I'll send a chick to him to seduce him. And then once he starts getting some pussy, he's going to be more cool with you getting some dick. And like, she was like, oh, bingo, that shit makes all the sense. Let's do it. And it's like, so if he, like, as much as I dislike Hunter as a person, I don't think he's not salvageable. Could have fixed him. No, come on.
By sending him a horde of fuck? What?
3 months,
I'm sorry, but both you and Carissa sound like absolute morons in this. And I feel bad that Hunter's the one catching all the shit, because seriously, the shit that I read between the two of you, the thoughts that you guys came up with it's literally like Pinky in the Brain coming up with ways to rule the world.
That's a base reference too, dude. That's a base reference. Shout out Pinky in the Brain, dude. Hell yeah, dude. That was good. That was good. It is a lot of naivete from both of them. Like, oh, how was I supposed to know that if they're inviting him to come over to my place that they knew who I was? Like, it's, come on.
I don't mind you saying that, because honestly, I felt like Hunter was getting the short end of the stick. I don't give a fuck. I don't like that guy. Who cares? He's not on my mind.
I think he just got the short stick. That was the problem, right?
Yeah. Well, he's only got one. I was offering a bunch of them.
No, I don't think it was up to you to care about Hunter's feelings. I think that was totally on Chris.
The other way around, Vic's life.
To care about Hunter's feelings. You're out of the relationship, has nothing to do with you. But as far as it's concerned, I just think I think the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. But I do think that you did it as revenge. I don't know if it's considered revenge porn.
Okay, hold on. What are you claiming I did revenge for?
Because
Ghosting.
You thought that what she was doing was going behind your back and talking to Hunter and telling Hunter and her friends that that you were coercing her into this and you were being manipulatively abusive.
Well, no, because the only way that he can disprove that is by leaking all of that information. So that can't be revenge. Like, if you actually believe that happened, then he has to release that information to prove that that's not the case. The problem is that we don't know that actually happened.
So what you did was you counteracted that by saying, well, fuck this bitch. And you slapped as little amount as you could possibly get away with on something and you posted it. Do I think that you...
Not the nudes? Well, again, we're talking about whether or not it was revenge, right? So he can release it appropriately, right? So as soon as he got crap for the nudes not being covered up well enough, he covered them up and just blurred them way more, right? So it didn't seem like that was actually his intention. If that was his intention, he wouldn't have covered them up more. He would have been like, yeah, no duh, that's the point, right? But that's not what he did. He covered them up more and then left the video because the rest of the video was the point, not the porn. So they are all just retarded. Yeah.
Did it
Oh, you're talking about the
lazily?
pictures.
Maybe, but I can't tell. I don't know you enough to say whether you did it because you were doing lazy content and you just wanted to get it out there, or you were like, well, I'll just get put the minimal amount as I possibly can and see what I can get.
Wait, my fault. I thought you were saying why I made the video. You're talking specifically about the pictures.
Oh no, I'm talking about like both in general. I feel you.
It can't be both in general. It would have to be either the video or just the pictures. Because if you're talking about the video, that means that you're saying that he could have done the video without the pictures and you still would call it vengeful. But the video without the pictures is just him putting out the information that's supposed to clear his name.
You obviously had some sort of issue with what was happening. That was the reason why you did it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it. You obviously care about what she was saying to them because otherwise you wouldn't have come out with the video.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like that's different than what you were just saying a second ago. You were making it sound like I possibly tried to share her nudes online as revenge. That didn't happen.
Well, I mean, the video of you, the lack of coverage of her on the video is what was enough to like make her beg you to take it down. And it wasn't just about the tweets. And it wasn't just about the tweets.
Okay. Let's clarify a few things.
Exactly. Pictures, bad. Video, it's a free country. Not really, because I had this conversation with Destiny recently where he was talking about the fact that he thinks releasing sexting is the same as revenge porn. And a lot of people seem to believe the same thing. I disagree, but it is to a similar level. It's not the same. Pictures are way more explicit. So, like, actually seeing somebody's identity there, seeing their, like, their image, that is totally different. That there's a whole new level of intimacy when you actually see somebody's face on, like, their naked body. That is so different. But sexting it's like here's like releasing DMs, right? You're not supposed to release DMs, okay? That's here's releasing someone's nudes, and then like right in the middle of those two is releasing sexting. So one way or the other, shouldn't release DMs, definitely shouldn't release sexting, definitely shouldn't release nudes. Now, sometimes there can be justification for all three of those things. There can be. It's like, it is possible, right? So let's say he releases this entire video and he's telling us about this intimate relationship that he has with her, and he's helping her with an OnlyFans, and he's helping her get into the sex work industry and helping her start a name and a brand and all of this crap. And then it turns out that she deleted her OnlyFans. Nobody can find any evidence of it. He doesn't have any DMs or any screenshots of it. At this point, it makes sense for him to show that she's sending him nudes, blurred in the correct places, but now it would make sense for him to release that stuff, right? There are contexts where it would make sense to release nudes, but most of the time it's not necessary. In this context, he could have blurred out or just blacked out the nudes completely, and it would have been fine because each time it had like captions that let you know that she was sending him nudes.
Because if we didn't get to that part in the conversation, so I don't think you know that. I feel like you're going off of bad information. I had already taken the video down. So what you're saying, like, that's
you already what? I'm sorry.
I had already taken the video down before she threatened that. That's what I clarified at the beginning of this call.
Because you had already taken the video down. Is there? Can we get like an appropriate timeline on that?
I mean, I can't look at the dates, etc. But I had, like, obviously when the video first.
Yeah, we already went over this on this show. Is when he said you know, she threatened suicide to get me to take the video down. That was incorrect. She did talk about suicide, but to get him to make a tweet saying that he shouldn't have released the video in the first place.
First one up, she starts blowing up my phone. And yes, I was being a little petty because I was like, oh, now this guilty ass nigga's telling me, think about my kids. Nah, nigga, I'm ignoring you. Like, you was talking that bullshit. Let the truth be out there. And if the truth makes you look ugly, then you got to deal with who you really are. I didn't make you say anything you said. No one forced you or held a gun in your head to cheat on your husband. So, yeah, like, I don't think that's revenge. If you lie about me and I put the truth out about you and everyone laughs at you when they see your truth, I don't think that's revenge. But I understand y'all calling it that. As far as the pictures, that's what I'm saying. I regret not blurring it more just because of it's taken a life of its own where I thought I blurred it adequately because I went by the law. I went by at least what I think the law says.
Can I read you the definition for revenge? Because you're describing it exactly. The actions of inflicting hurt or harm on someone for an injury or wrong suffered at their hands.
But that's not what I was trying to do.
You're literally saying she did you wrong, and then you release this video.
No, he's saying that he was trying to clear his name.
But the harm isn't me trying to, because I felt like some people are going to see it and think, hey, she's not in the wrong. Some people are going to, I thought most people would see it and say Hunter's not in the wrong at all. I thought I was probably going to take more heat than she would, but I'll take, like, you see my personality. I'll take all the heat for being a nigga who's about to fuck a nigga's wife, for being a nigga who told as the side dude what you're not supposed to do. I'll be a nigga for everything that actually I did. And hey, let's put up what both of us did and let all of these niggas, you know, let's just bask in the light. And if the harm comes, that's out of my control, nigga. But it's not like, I think revenge would make more sense if I tell the truth on a nigga because they lying on me. I've never heard that called revenge before. Like I've never heard that called revenge before.
So first of all,
yeah, that's not really the same as revenge. Revenge is like the point is to harm the other person. Whereas instead he's saying the point is to clear his own name. That's different.
Apparently telling people in private that you're a sex pest or coercive, whatever the fuck she's saying. I don't want to quote her or anything. I don't know her exact words, right? But as a response, you released this video. You could have divulged this information to people in private, but instead what you did is you released a video, and I see no intention behind releasing the video publicly other than to tarnish her credibility and like make it public what a fucking mess her marriage is. Like it is just public humiliation.
Yes, as far as we know. Because he hasn't proven that there was any reason for him to clear his name. So as far as we know, yeah, it was just him just trying to humiliate her. That's it.
I don't know. Maybe it's a semantics argument. I realize we come from very different cultures because every time you do a video, you say some weird shit that just sounds super weird to me. And I'm
like the pimp stuff.
I'm sure you feel the same way. Because I'm watching y'all videos and all of y'all are bringing up shit that never crossed my mind. Like,
is there a cultural difference, you think, between us for some reason? I don't know. What do you reckon?
Last time I made an argument about black people on this stream, I got fucking yelled at, so.
I actually have a question for you, Kingston. Do you consider yourself a pimp?
No, I detest that word.
Okay, why?
Because...
Yeah, we've already talked about this. Everyone agrees with my pimp takes. Everyone's retarded, okay? Whether or not somebody is a pimp is based on who the consumer is. That's what matters. Who is the consumer? That is everything as to whether or not one is or is not a pimp when it comes to the porn industry. So if I pay to have sex with somebody and you film it, right? I am paying to have sex and it be filmed. If you help me make that happen, you are the pimp. If you facilitate that, you are a pimp. But if instead I pay for somebody to have sex with somebody else and you film it, now you are not a pimp. Because as the customer, I am not paying to have sex with somebody. There's a massive gulf between those two things. A massive gulf between those two things. One, you're paying to have sex. And the other one, you're paying for a video. if that's what, like, that means that everybody who watches porn or pays for porn is a John. Everybody who pays, anyone who's ever paid for porn has now paid for prostitution. You are now a John. Like, that's not how this works. The customer is what makes all of the difference. Who is the customer in this case? Is the customer the person who's having sex, or is the customer somebody who's getting a product, which is a video? This is just pimpery with extra steps. It's not. That is totally different. It is insanely different. There is just such a massive gulf between those two things. There is, like, when you say extra steps, you're talking about like 1,000 extra steps between the two things. They are so different.
I feel like, okay, legal sex work and illegal sex work, there's a hard line right there in the middle where people say, like, what's the difference between porn and escorting? Well, it's about 20 years. That's the difference. So to y'all, it don't matter, but to any black guy in this industry, that's a big deal that you don't take, like, even when she's saying, hey, set up this gangbang for me, if she'd have said he's going to be in it, I'd have said no. Because if he pays for sex he gets to have, that's prostitution, and I'm a pimp. If he pays for a video that I helped make with actors, that's legal. So I work really hard to keep my shit on the legal end. So that's one of the things that I was so bothered by. Is like, dog, like, and maybe, and even honestly, if she'd have just talked through it, like, because she would say stupid shit other times, and I tell her, like, stop, what are you doing? Like, chill that shit. Like, if she'd have just been like, oh shit, I do say that, and I won't ever say it again because I realize why that irritates you so much. Because if I'm saying some shit,
Tom is too nice to be a pimp. Yeah. Yeah, right. Gator don't play no shit. Everybody knows that.
that could put you in jail, then I'd have been like, all right, cool, just shut the fuck up, and I'm not talking to you no more. But when you running around telling niggas I'm committing crimes, and this nigga's like, just tell people privately. Don't make sure any of the people that she's saying no. Just tell your friends. Tell your friends that you're not a criminal committing crimes. That'll do that. What? That's goofy.
Well, what do you consider like her coming to you to facilitate a gangbang?
Porn content. As long as the gangbang isn't as okay.
Okay, but your difference is that because it's being recorded for pornographic purposes, that it's no longer prostitution, because that's the loophole, right?
No, you're missing something. You're missing the biggest part. If the guy who's paying for it all is getting to have sex with the girl, that's prostitution. If all he gets is a video, that's just porn.
Yeah, that's W content.
All he was buying was a video.
Very slim lines between these, isn't there?
I think it's a huge line.
Okay, what if he gets jerked off or something like that? Is there any sexual contact?
With me and the other porn performers, yeah.
So what I mean is, if the guy's paying for the video, okay.
So, okay. So here's the thing. It is a little bit different when Carissa is paying five black guys to have sex with her for a video. I'll admit, at that point, it might be a little bit different. Because the gulf is now shortened a lot in this case. Wait, she's paying them? No. But I'm saying, if that was the case. Like, if Carissa was the one, because I think that was what Ginger asked a minute ago, is like, well, what if she's paying them? And so I was saying, like, if that hypothetical was actually the case, the gulf would be minimized. But in this case, it was actually another guy who was paying for the video to be made. So this other guy was paying Carissa, Kingston, and all five black guys for a video.
Right? Yeah. He can't have any sexual involvement whatsoever. He's just got to maybe film it. He gets the video, but he doesn't get any sexual involvement, right?
Exactly.
Wait, what if he's there getting jacked off by somebody who's not getting paid for it?
Wait, what?
What if he's a cuck and that's actually what he wants? he's a real cuckold where he wants to sit off to the side and watch somebody else have sex. And for him, that is the sex, right? Because it's his kink. So that is the sex for him. What about now?
Okay, listen,
Alright.
I think it's fine. I think I understand what you're saying. So these are like lines that exist, and you try and stick to them for the reason. And so for that reason, you don't agree with this label of a pimp because you are not, you know.
Yeah,
pimping
this
her
is
out.
not what I am. I'm not a
Okay.
criminal.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think you're a criminal.
The only thing I want to say though is, you know, I don't know. Maybe we should just say it openly. But obviously, there was discussions between you and Carissa that involved her coming down and potentially sleeping with other people. And the word sugar daddy was thrown around. So what's the line between, you know, you introducing her to a sugar daddy and they have sex versus you pimping her out?
You know what's funny is I feel like I was trying not to just completely shit all over Carissa, but I think I might have to. And it's like, so yeah, there's a line with that too. Is if y'all don't ever discuss sex overtly, then it's just a dude taking you on a date, and whatever happens, happens. And if I happen to know niggas who like pretty girls, and they go, hey, make the connection, let me talk to her. As long as I don't go any further than that, it's all good.
Out of sight, out of mind, I believe that's called.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This all seems like hope to me, personally.
But hold on.
I think
Go ahead, my fault.
To me, pimp is a very broad term. Some people accused me of me using this term because it's racially motivated. It's not. Fuck all of you. When I want to be racially motivated, I'll tell you. But it's a very broad term. And then what makes you a porn producer is qualities on top of being a pimp. So I would consider something like OnlyFans to be a pimp because it's something where it connects a sex worker with customers. They're basically a middleman. Okay? And the prostitute is a person who sells sexual acts. And I don't know that selling things like a girlfriend experience and shit like that, even though it's electronic, I don't know that I wouldn't consider
A prostitute is not somebody who sells sexual acts. A prostitute is somebody who has sex with people for money.
it a sexual act. It's a lot different to go on a porn website and specifically buy a video that you didn't really influence the production of versus specifically contacting a creator and saying, hey, I want to watch you get gangbanged by 5 black dudes. And she's like making the limitations for what she's allowed to engage in.
Okay, let me shoot you some.
That's a lot more personal than just a porn video.
While I think you're absolutely wrong, I understand what you're saying.
Lots of puritanical language. Yes. It just seems like a lot of people who never actually thought about the distinctions between these things. I had these debates a couple years ago where we were talking about whether or not prostitution should be legal. And my argument was, well, if you can pay somebody to have sex and then film it, and now it's legal, then why can't you just pay someone to have sex and leave it at that? Why can't a prostitute just bring a camera with her everywhere she goes, and then it'll always be legal because she's always doing porn? And somebody came and explained to me, they're like, well, those are massively different. Like, even if she films it, that doesn't change that somebody is paying her to have sex with them. So this does get into, like, so I mentioned earlier, this can get into some gray areas where, like, if we talk about there are porn producers who star, there are male porn producers who star in all of their own films. In this case, though, later, Dave, we wouldn't consider them the customer. We would consider them the boss, and the porn star the employee. Whereas with a prostitute in a John, the prostitute is the worker and the John is the customer. So the distinctions there are pretty big, because it's like saying if my boss, say I'm a cashier at Taco Bell, and my boss pays me to work the register, is my boss now my customer because he's paying me for a service? Like, we would be conflating things a little bit too much at that point, because in order to make that argument, you would have to make this argument that a Taco Bell cashier's boss is their customer.
Why you're saying it. And I think you're saying it because you're just looking at, okay, these things are similar. And I'll grant you that they are similar. The problem is, the difference is whether you go to jail or not. So while you say,
yes,
hey, it doesn't matter if I use this word inaccurately, to me, it's the difference between my freedom or not. So of course, even if I think it's stupid, and I think, yes, being a middleman, I shouldn't have to follow these guidelines. It's all stupid. But for me, it's really fucking important to know the difference. And while you're going, hey,
Is just peeing on someone porn? Yeah, of course. A girl just masturbating is porn. A girl just walking around naked can be porn, right? So, of course,
all
that
sex work
can
is
be.
prostitution. That ain't how this shit goes in court. A
Right,
girl on
there's protection
OnlyFans selling a custom is very different in the law.
Okay, do we ever get back to the justification for leaking everything? Sic Ginger. Anybody who's already seen it? No? But the pimp thing drags a bit. A guest even comes on. Oh, brother. I don't remember. I just wanted to argue with Kingston. What the hell? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to... Like, if we don't get back to the reason for leaking everything, then I don't think I really care about the rest of this. Tom talked to Sic. Talk to him about what? Sic did a good job. W's in chat for Sic, guys. He's the only one who pressed on the making, or trying to get him to explain why he leaked everything, so well done. Sic can summarize it. I don't want a summary. I don't care about the rest of this. If there's, again, like, if there's not a reason for posting all of the information, then I don't, like, I don't care about the rest of it. Tom is scared and doesn't want to argue pimping with a G. I already argued pimping with a freaking G, okay? Time for sleep. Not just yet. Don't you rush.
Oh, of course, tomfoolery. How could I forget? Tomfoolery. I don't know what the hell tomfoolery is.
Nobody does.
But he's there.
He is there. Wait, Aiko is branched off of the President Sunday? And so, wait, I am so confused as to what is happening on this.
Tom is a drama channel, through and through. And
Not through and through. That is not true. Not through and through. I do politics. I do lots of debates. I do panels. I do news. I'm not even a drama channel, really. I'm just a news channel. Yeah, I'm just a news channel. I just do the news. Who's Lucy? You don't want to know. I don't do drama at all. I just do the news.